Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter is coming out in a matter of days. At time of recording, it comes out this week. I actually don't know when this video is going to be coming out. I think it'll actually come out after the album is out, but it'll come out before my reaction, so stay tuned for that. So I thought it would be fun to do a Sabrina related video before Man's Best Friend comes out and before my reaction. Emails I Can't Send is one of my most favourite albums of all time. However, it never really got the critical acclaim and public attention that it really deserved. All the public attention and acclaim really go towards Short and Sweet and Man's Best Friend, and any acclaim that does go towards Emails I Can't Send goes to Nonsense and Feather. And I do think it comes down to a fumbled marketing campaign, and there probably was so many other reasons, because, like for example, pop being such a crowded genre, but the rollout, campaign and marketing of an album can really make or break its success. Look at Short and Sweet, for example. The singles, the appearances, the performances was executed flawlessly, and that made for an absolutely smash album. It was huge, it was everywhere. But I thought it would be fun to redo the Emails I Can't Send promotional cycle, specifically the single rollout, because let's be real, that's the main thing about an album cycle. Make Emails and Sabrina bigger and get the acclaim that it really deserved at the time. Emails I Can't Send had everything about it to be a smash album. It had some more fun, upbeat pop bangers. It had some more sad, more songwritery songs, which are definitely a lot more appreciated in its current pop climate, both back then and now. It had some more sexy, sultry songs. It had some songs addressing the driver's license drama, which people were still talking about. Her performances were extremely charismatic back then. She's always been a great performer, both back then, before Emails, and after. Her performances have always been great. And even the album title itself, Emails I Can't Send, is provocative and intriguing and relatable, so people really would have responded to it. The marketing campaign is really what let Sabrina down. I'm mostly going to talk about the single rollout, as I've mentioned, but a few things before that is that one, Island Records really could have tried to get Sabrina on bigger stages and with bigger brand deals. Obviously not too many brand deals, we don't want to dilute her public image, her like integrity, like how she looks towards the public, etc. But more high-end brand deals and getting her on bigger stages would have shown her to the public even more and gotten more hype for the album. Obviously I understand why they didn't do this, because they wouldn't want to pour money and resources into Sabrina, an artist who was quite small, who had just signed and hadn't really shown off her main strengths and talents yet, so that makes sense. Island Records definitely should have done was established Team Sabrina a lot sooner. Team Sabrina was not established until the tail end of the Emails I Can't Send era in March of 2024, and this was probably done to have that marketing team to really drive my hype for Short and Sweet, which makes sense, which is a good move. But it really should have been done before Emails, because having an official fan page has so many benefits to it. It means that they can do a lot of marketing and hype building and world building on their page, instead of the artist putting it on them, on their social media pages and with their name on it, which then kind of, in the public eyes at least, separates the artist sort of from the business of music. A marketing team like Team Sabrina can promote at any time, anywhere, because unlike there being like a few social media managers and the artists themselves with their one account, you have a whole massive team of people, maybe dotted around the world, which means they can promote at any time, really, at anywhere. Having an official fan page can really bring a sense of legitimacy for the artist in the public's eyes, as they see it and they're like, oh, they're like big enough or real enough to have their own like fan page, and they're like a big enough artist, and the public really subconsciously will kind of think that. So I definitely think that's one thing Island Records really could have done, as having that team would really have helped and promote Emails I Can't Send throughout this era. Now to the main part of this video, the single rollout. So I've put a lot of thought into this, and I really think I've really cracked the code for this. I like to think the promotional cycle for an album really goes from the release of the lead single to the album release. Obviously an album cycle really kind of lasts between the lead single release and then the lead single of the next project, but a lot of the promotion is really done in that pre-release period. I'm going to mostly focus on that. The time between the lead single of Emails I Can't Send, Skinny Dipping, and the release of the album was 10 months. You might be thinking, 10 months doesn't sound that bad. It's enough time for the artist to promote their album. You're wrong. 10 months is far too long, especially for an artist like Sabrina, who's pretty unknown at this point in time. There are some artists who definitely could pull off a 10-month marketing campaign for an album, but they don't, because they know it's a massive gamble because of how long it is. Even Sabrina learned this. If you look at the time between Espresso and Short and Sweet, the time was 4 months. If you look at Manchild to Man's Best Friend, that time was 3 months. And look at those album success. So Short and Sweet was an absolutely smash hit album, massive, won loads of awards, got lots of acclaim. And Man's Best Friend is looking to have a lot of hype surrounding it as well. A lot of people looking forward to it. And there's a lot of other reasons why Short and Sweet was bigger than Emails I Can't Stand, and we'll get to a few of them later. But again, the marketing campaign is the big one, and 10 months is far too long because it leaves enough time for the public to get sick of your pre-release singles and your promotion and the artists themselves, and soon they'll lose interest in your project because of how sick they are of you or just your singles, and they'll feel like the wait is too long for an album, and they feel they've been waiting ages and it's still a couple months away, and it's like, okay, I don't want to wait anymore. It doesn't matter how many singles you put out or how much promotion you do, you're always going to lose a few people along the way with promotion, especially the longer it gets. And with pop, you want to maximize, you want to capitalize off the most amount of people possible. And you might be wondering, why not have a lot of singles dotted around equally throughout, like every month or 2 months you put a single out. Putting too many singles out can again dilute the cycle, and of course a lot of albums aren't that long, so putting loads of singles out before the album means there won't be as much left for the public to like react to or have new for them when the album is released, and you won't have as much left to promote after the album comes out, because of course you want to sustain the life cycle of an album, so you want to have more left. However, this isn't the only problem with the single rollout. Let me read it to you so you can spot the problems yourself. So, Skinny Dipping was released in September 2021, Fast Times was released in February 2022, Vicious was released in July, 2 weeks before the album, Because I Liked a Boy was released with the album on July 15, 2022, Nonsense was released as a single in November 2022, and Feather was released as a single a couple of weeks after Emails I Can't Send Forwarded. The deluxe edition came out in March of 2023. One problem I immediately see with this single rollout is that there was a 5-month gap between Skinny Dipping and Fast Times, which meant half of the album cycle was spent promoting a song that really wasn't the most popular. I love Skinny Dipping, don't get me wrong, it's a really well written song, it's really nice. However, it's currently sitting on 63 million Spotify streams and 6 million views on YouTube, and I wasn't a fan back then, so you'll have to tell me in the comments if you were, but I can't imagine what the numbers were like back then in 2021. At the time between Espresso and Please Please Please, there was 2 months, and this was a good amount of time. Why? Because it allowed time for Espresso to marinate and really soak up all of its success that it had gotten, because of course it was an absolutely massive song. It also gave time for people to want more music. If you leave too much time between the lead single and the second single, people will start to get sick of that song, and if the demand for new music isn't met after people are getting sick of that song, they'll get bored and leave, as I've mentioned already. Releasing Please 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 2 months after Espresso, just as people were starting to get sick of it, was perfect, because one, it meant that a lot of people who were now sick wanting new music got that need and now had new music and would go stream that one, and when people went to go listen to Please Please Please, they may have turned on Espresso, because why not? Listen to Sabrina, listen to new music, they loved Espresso, all the reasons are there. Then they click Espresso and play it, which prolonged the life cycle of Espresso a lot longer. However, there is still other problems with this rollout. Vicious was released only 2 weeks before the album, and before Because I Liked a Boy, after a 5-month gap again between Fast Times and Vicious. Now this was probably done after Island Records realised, wait, we haven't released anything since Fast Times, and there really isn't that much hype for this album, so let's put out a random song and try and regain some of that hype. It just felt like a rush job, and the reason I do feel like it was a rush job is that Vicious did not have a music video, and because it was a pre-release, you would expect there to be, because it's an isolated song on its own, and if you want to get as many like charting points or chart success as possible, you want to have as many mediums: radio, streaming, YouTube views, etc. So of course that's why I feel like it was a rush job, and also Because I Liked a Boy did have a music video, and which makes it a lot more planned to be with the album release. Also, releasing 2 singles very close together can really jeopardize their impact. Of course, in the age of streaming, people can go choose to listen to whatever song they want, whether it be Vicious or Because I Liked a Boy or just other songs on the album. However, radio and streaming service playlists like New Music Friday and just like pop playlists really do play a big factor in getting people to listen to new music. And with both songs being so new, radio and streaming service playlists would really have to choose between which of the songs to promote, and then there will likely be a split. And you might be thinking, why not choose both? because of how many songs are released on a basis and sent to radio and sent to streaming services, they would really want to really choose one song by Sabrina to promote and put loads of other songs out because it really diversifies the radio and makes it so people don't get bored. And of course, it's only two songs, but you want to have as much diversity on the radio as possible, which is what I think anyway. So they probably would have to choose between one or the other. One more problem I had with this cycle is that Nonsense was the last single from the standard edition of the album. Nonsense always made the most sense to be a single. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's sexy, but it should have been pushed sooner. I also feel like Sabrina's team realised that Nonsense was starting to go viral, and they were like, okay, we need to put it out as a single because to capitalise off that success and kind of get it charting or get some more success for this album, etc. And so they decided to push it as a single. And the reason I think this is because the music video for Nonsense is a bit lackluster. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, it's bright, but it could have been a lot more, and it's definitely not as high budget and big as a Nonsense video really should have been. It's really only limited to 2 rooms, probably in the same house, like a living room and a bedroom, a bit of dancing, a few shots here and there. It's fun, but it really could have been more, and it kind of feels like that was like a rushed music video because they were like, wait, we need to put a music video out for Nonsense because it's going viral and we really want to capitalise off the success, especially after Vicious didn't have as much success because there was no music video. So yeah, these are just some of my problems I have with the in rollout. There are many other problems, but we're going to finally get on with my single rollout. So first, I have slashed the time for the pre-release period from 10 months to 5 months. This will be enough time to promote the album, but not enough time for the public to lose interest in the album. Then I had to choose singles for the album. So first, I listed the possible songs. So I listed the original singles first, so Skinny Dipping, Fast Times, Vicious, Because I Like to Avoid, Nonsense, and Feather. Then I chose a few songs that I think could have been pretty good singles, Read Your Mind, Tornado Warnings, and Already Over. From that list, I immediately crossed off Skinny Dipping. I'm so sorry, but that song should not have been the lead single, let alone a single. It's too much of a ballad and too sad and too much of a songwriter song to be a single. Don't get me wrong, ballads can be singles. I put Tornado Warnings on this list for God's sake. But unlike Tornado Warnings and Because I Like to Boy, Skinny Dipping is not super interesting productionally. It's mostly string and it builds a little bit, but not much, and it doesn't really go anywhere. The only thing going for the song is the title itself. I mean, Skinny Dipping is a provocative thing. You're literally getting naked and swimming. That song is out of the list. One thing that absolutely baffles me is that Read Your Mind was never a single, and that has everything about it to be a smash hit song. It's fun, loud, and has great production to dance to. It's got a lot of sassiness and Sabrina's key humour and her sexiness in it, and the performances are all going so well, but it also had a songwriterness to it, which really helped and which is really good to encapsulate the entire album. It shows the fun, flirty, sexy side of Sabrina, but also showcases her songwriting, which is all over the album. So which is why I decided that Read Your Mind would be the lead single of Emails I Can't Send. It's perfect. It encapsulates the whole album. A bit like how Espresso encapsulates all of Short and Sweet. It's flirty, sexy, fun, and smart, and it's got smart writing, a bit like a lot of Short and Sweet, whereas Read Your Mind has a bit more kind of standard songwriting-ness, which is a lot more like Emails I Can't Send. For the second single, I chose Because I Like to Boy. I actually think this made a lot of sense to be a single for the album because its title is provocative, it does have an interesting production, both musically, melodically, and it does talk about the driver's license drama. And at this time, we do need to remember that people still did hate Sabrina for the driver's license drama. It may have been a year ago, but some people were still thinking about it. And addressing the drama would have gotten a lot more of the public interested in her. I do think this was released at the wrong time though, because this is a song that makes sense to be released isolated, so it's the only focus that people are going to have. Whereas releasing with the album means some people will see it, but then some people won't. So it's why I decided to make it the second single and a pre-release. Coming after Read Your Mind would also reinforce the songwriter of Sabrina that's all over the album, because Read Your Mind songwriting is really heavily disguised by the fun, upbeat production. So Because I Like to Boy would like more obviously portray that, and also the heel turn away from the big fun song to a sad, more weepy song really would have interested the public and got them more interested in Sabrina. I do want to circle back to Tornado Warnings and Already Over because I ultimately did not choose them. I love both of those songs. Tornado Warnings is my favourite song from Emails. However, I have a few reasons why I didn't choose them. As for Tornado Warnings, it is a kind of a sadder song, but it has a sort of upbeat production and interesting production. That intro few seconds is really interesting and really would have intrigued people and got people interested if they heard that on the radio or on streaming services. And the lyrics on this song, unlike Skinny Dipping, is a bit more easier to get, and I'm not trying to knock the songwriting on this song, it's still amazing, but it is easier to get and I think the public really would have liked that, having that kind of easier to get song. However, I didn't choose it because I don't want to have loads of ballads in the single rollout, because whilst Email I Can't Send does have a few ballads in it, I do think it makes more sense to like focus on putting out the fun, upbeat, big songs, because this was coming at a time about a year after the COVID restrictions were being lifted and people just wanted to have fun, to dance and to listen to happy music. So putting out too many ballads might have like turned away a few people because they were like not interested anymore. So I wanted to focus on those songs. And having Because I Like to Boy, I do think kind of works the best, which is why it's one of the ones that was taken off. As for Already Over, I actually think this would have been a really good single. It's really fun and upbeat, but has really sad lyrics, and those sad lyrics are disguised by that production. A bit like Read Your Mind, it has kind of country element to it. It's really just, I love listening to it. But I did decide to keep it off because I wanted to stick to 5 singles. Spoiler alert, I decided to keep Nonsense, Fast Times and Feather released in that order, so those are our 5 singles. However, if I did choose to keep Already Over, it probably would have worked pretty well between Fast Times and Feather, which I'll get to later. As for Vicious, I do think it would have been good as a single for my rollout. It's fun and has a bit of a rock element to it, but it has sad lyrics. So again, a bit like a lot of the songs of the album, sad lyrics disguised by a fun production. But unlike a lot of the album, like Read Your Mind, Nonsense, Tornado Warnings, it takes a while longer to set off because it sets up in a bridge where a lot of others like set off in the first chorus, and then you really want to have that to really hook the audience immediately, which on streaming, on radio, etc, etc. And it was also between Fast Times and Vicious to be a single, because let's be real, Nonsense and Feather were not going anywhere, that's for damn sure. And I chose Fast Times because this song is really different and interesting. The songwriting is really different, and the production is really different to stuff from that time and on the album. So I think it would have been really great to push this song, especially after the album, because people who may not have listened to the album initially would have heard that song and be like, oh, this song was kind of interesting and kind of fun, and they go listen to Sabrina and the album, and then you get more people listening to the album and more hype. So yeah, that's why I wanted to keep Fast Times. I do also love Fast Times, which is probably why I chose it, and it may be a bit of bias, but whatever. As I mentioned, Read Your Mind and Because I Liked a Boy would be the first 2 singles from the album. I will be the only pre-release single, because we don't want to dilute the pre-release and the album as a whole with loads and loads of pre-releases and getting the public bored or angry or confused with loads of drops and whatever. And during that 5-month period of pre-release, Sabrina would really work on her performance skills and her public character and get people really interested and hype, and also get a few brand deals and get on bigger stages, festivals, concerts, etc. Then in July, the album would be released, with Nonsense being the 3rd single on release day. Now, Nonsense really only works for the 1st or 3rd single in my eyes, but because Read Your Mind better encapsulates the album, I wanted that to be the lead. So Nonsense will have to be the 3rd single, because we need the balance with Because I Like to Boy as the 2nd one. But I do think the general public would always have gravitated towards Nonsense on release day of the weeks after the album's release. Also, releasing Nonsense as when the album comes out as a single would have really gotten ahead of its viral moment when the tour starts, and that would mean that there will be a bit of a viral moment when it first comes out with the music video, which would be better, and with the radio playing, people hearing it, and it would go a bit viral in my eyes, and then it would kind of die off a bit. And when tour starts up, the song will have another big viral push and would really go absolutely massive. And instead of that being the first viral moment, the first viral moment would be when it's released, and the second viral moment, and it would be even bigger than it is before. They have more streams, more success, more recognition, etc. As I mentioned, Fast Times is the 4th single, and Feather will be the final single, because obviously, why would it not be Feather? But as for dates, Read Your Mind and Because I Like to Boy will be released in mid-February and mid-April 2022, leaving 2 months in between. Because I do think Read Your Mind would have gone a lot more viral than Skinny Dipping as the lead single, because again, it's fun, it's big, and I think it really would have captured the public's attention. It'd be like Espresso, and then Because I Like to Boy would be the great heel turn, a bit like with Please Please Please, because that was a bit more of a songwriter song, and it was a bit more smart songwriting than Espresso. So yeah, that makes sense to me. And then of course, Nonsense will be released with the album in July. Fast Times will be released as the 4th single in late September, because that song does really give end of summer energy. And then Feather will be released with the deluxe edition in March of 2023. And if Already Over was kept, I would put it in between Fast Times and Feather, because there is a pretty big gap between there. But I think that's alright, because the album's already out to this point. And after Feather's release, Sabrina can do what she needs to do to take over the world with Espresso. However, I do think this release schedule and this promotional cycle would have made Emails and Sabrina a lot bigger, and this would have caused Espresso and Short N Sweet to be even bigger than it is, or she would have gone viral sooner with like some of her singles. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about my single rollout and my promotional cycle given for emails I can't send. And let me know what you would change about mine or the original in the comments below. I love reading your guys' comments. It means a lot when you do. I love hearing your ideas. I can't wait for Man's Best Friend. So next video you'll see me will be my reaction to Man's Best Friend. And hopefully when you're seeing this, it'll already be out. So that's great. So yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.